I know you have a very interesting framework on how to approach performance marketing and get to profitable unit economics initially. Would be great if you could walk us through that.
Yeah, sure. And feel free to guide me if there's something specific that you've heard me talk about. But the starting point, oftentimes early founders, what do they do when they're starting a business? They go around and go, well, what should my economics look like? And one of the things I cringe the most on is when people say, oh, a 3-to-1 LTV to CAC. 3-to-1 LTV to CAC, and you're good to go, and that's life, and you're fine. And what turns out is that's an extremely arbitrary number. It's just somebody pulled it out, or some VC, or somebody said, you know what, if that's good, then I'll invest in your company. And the reality of it is, why couldn't it be 5-to-1? Typically you could pick any number, frankly. I mean, those are all output. It's like an output number. It's like, oh, well, what should my EBITDA margins? If you hire less people, it could be 30%. If you hire more people, it's 20%. It's all the choices you make. And I think that's the first starting point for performance marketing, is that people who are unfamiliar with it tend to think of it as like gravity, like laws of gravity. And in my experience, it's much more malleable than people realize, right? And let's start with the easy version of that. There are channels out there that are 100%, or 100-to-1 LTV to CAC. That was a good example of that. Email marketing. And so SEO, now the downside of SEO is it takes 2 years, right? And SEO, for those who don't know, search engine optimization, that's when you get your website to rank on Google organically. So someone searches for probiotic for gas, and you're the number one result that is free. Now, of course, that takes content and time and energy and may take you a year. And then maybe the other extreme is I don't know, I'll pick on Facebook, but not spending a ton of money on Facebook because, next day you can get results, but the economics may not be so great on those results. And there's a wide range in between. There's SEO, there's email, there's brand search, there's affiliate. There's a whole portfolio of choices you can make across the board. And part of the job of the board and the CEO is to go, well, what would be really distinctive economics? And especially if you're not under the pressure to go really fast because you have to keep raising VC, you say, well, maybe I want 2 parts SEO, 4 parts email, and 2 parts Facebook. And that's the right mix for me. And I'm going to see if that works. And I'm going to do some things to get my economics working. And I generally tell founders when they say, oh, should I do 3-to-1 LTV? I go, either don't have a number, because that's going to immediately put a ceiling on your team, because they're just going to deliver the number you ask them to deliver. And they're going to make the choices that are low quality choices and typically, easy choices. Or if you're going to give them a number, give them an insane number, like 5-to-1 or 6-to-1. That's going to force them to make decisions and investments that retain a high bar for the economics in the business, right? So that's kind of the high level sort of portfolio approach when it comes to doing marketing. And it's, having done this myself, it's frustrating. We have a couple brands and we're not scaling them yet because their economics aren't quite there yet. Well, email is 5% of our mix right now, and it needs to get to 30% of our mix. And that's frustrating because the subject lines aren't working, and it's not easy, right? So I'm not saying that this is easy stuff and it's just a switch. But I think oftentimes people tolerate and take on mediocre economics and scale mediocre economics. And then that leads to a very huge lacking of capital efficiency in these businesses, right? That's the number one cause of that issue, because it's kind of a weird thing where you can grow at shitty economics.